Ontario Premier Doug Ford isn't backing down after a judge blocked his move to slash the size of Toronto City Council.
We have instructed our legal counsel to immediately commence appeal proceedings to the Ontario Court of Appeal. I have already called an emergency meeting of my cabinet to discuss this response, and I have notified the Lieutenant Governor our intention to bring back the legislature back this week. Our first order of business will be to reintroduce the Better Local Government Act, and with it, invoke Section 33 of the Constitution.
The Premier's comments come as both the federal Liberals and NDP meet to hammer out strategies for the upcoming election. Joining me from Ottawa with more is the Globe and Mail's Laura Stone. Laura, great to see you. Let's jump right in. We know Doug Ford wants to invoke Section 33 to push through his bill to slash Toronto City Council. Talk to me about the mechanism by which he can do this. What does he need to do in order to get there?
Well, good morning, Ben. You know, I didn't think Constitution and Doug Ford would be a defining issue of the first few months of his premiership, but here we are. Basically, what this clause allows Premier Ford to do is override certain charter rights if it conflicts with his legislative agenda. This is a right that every province has, but it's never been invoked in Ontario, so it's quite precedent-setting, obviously. And basically, all Doug Ford has to do is, as he said, reintroduce this legislation with the notwithstanding clause. He can pass it in the legislature and go ahead. He has said that he's appealing this decision. This all relates to his decision to slash Toronto City Council, but he obviously wants this to take impact immediately, so he's going to push this through, and he's sending a message, I think, Ben, to the courts, to his detractors that says, you can challenge me, but I'm going to use all the tools in my toolbox to push my legislation through.
So we thought it was ending, but it's just the beginning. All right, let's talk about Justin Trudeau now. He was at a women's summit in Toronto yesterday where he was asked about NAFTA.
What's the latest with NAFTA? We're going to make a little news here, people.
Sorry to disappoint, but we continue to work hard and be positive.
So it seems like the party has a little bit of an issue ahead of the election next year because they want to win voters over, but they don't necessarily have firm resolution on things like Trans Mountain or NAFTA. What's the game plan?
Well, the Liberal caucus is meeting in Saskatoon this week, Ben, to plot the year ahead, and it's, of course, the year leading up to the next election. What Justin Trudeau needs to do here with NAFTA, which has become the never-ending story, we're now more than a year into the negotiations, and it seems like Canada keeps getting close to a deal, but nothing has come through yet. What the Trudeau Liberals need to do is look like they're in charge. I mean, they do score political points when Trudeau is seen to be standing up to Donald Trump. He's so unpredictable that most Canadians look at the situation and say, I mean, I don't know how I would deal with that. But it is going to hurt Canada if Trump decides to pull out of NAFTA or decides to go ahead without Mexico. So Trudeau needs to continually push that message that he's standing up for Canadian interests no matter what. And on the Trans Mountain issue, the government was dealt a big blow when the court nullified the permits. So the Trudeau government has to present their plan of how they're going to go ahead with that. They need to engage in more meaningful consultation with First Nations and do a study of the marine tanker traffic, which is what the court recommended. So they need to communicate that because as of now, the government has not said how they're going to deal with this.
All right, Laura, I wish we had more time, but that's it for today. Thanks again.
Thanks, Ben.